animal tissues. The 4 types of tissues are nerve tissue. These are the 4 types of tissues in animals. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the first one, which one is epithelial tissue. These tissues are made up of cells. A group of cells make a tissue. Epi means out. So the tissues are present outer surface of the organs or inner wall of the organs or the integument, that means skin and other things. Whatever the things of the surface of outer and inner is made up of the kind of tissues that is called epithelial tissues. According to their shape, they are also divided into 3 types. What are those? Squamous. Squamous epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue. See here, the name is lying here. Squamous means flat. It's a squarish but flat and very thin, and they can filter easily all the things. And cuboidal means the shape is like square. So it is flat, scale-like structure, but the shape is almost square. That is squamous epithelial tissue. Cuboidal, this means all sides are equal. That means it is not flat. It has width, length, height, and columnar epithelial tissue. So here also name is lying column. Column means long. It's like a column. Usually they can expand a little flexible, and it is present mainly in the wall of the our esophagus, inside the wall of alimentary canal. These tissues are present. So according to the layer of basement membrane, they are also divided into 3. Simple stratified tissues. These are the tissues very simple and based on a single basement membrane. Okay, and these are also giving the integument of different body structure. Previously that we are saying the squamous tissues, those squamous tissues are present only on single layer of membrane, and they are very thin, and the same function like the squamous tissues, they are present in the Bowman capsules in the kidneys. So now come to the second point. Stratified, they more than one basement membrane of cells. So they can change their cell layers from 4 to 7 to 8 within a few minutes of time. And where this kind of tissues are present, mainly in our alimentary canal like esophagus, that always peristalsis occurring there. This kind of tissues are present more than one basement layer membrane. Third one is pseudo-stratified epithelial tissue. These are present in the trachea, inside the inner wall of the trachea. There are other epithelial tissues are present. Those are ciliated epithelial tissues. These tissues are present in the organs which contain the tiny hair-like structure. Those tissues are called ciliated epithelial tissues. Mainly these tissues are present inside the trachea or inside our nose or nostrils. And what is the function for this? Air can contain dust particles or other germs. They are stopping to enter to the body, and by always they are moving and stopping them not to letting them to go inside the lungs. Otherwise, we can suffer from diseases. And flagellated epithelial tissues, these are present in the hydra. In our, the hydra body is made up of 2 layers of cells, ectoderm, endoderm. And these flagellated cells are present in the endoderms and helps the inside body fluid. They are controlling by these flagellated tissues. And pseudoepithelial tissues are present also in our, already said, in our alimentary canal and working for movement of the food to the downwards by peristalsis. The tissues are present in different glands inside the body. Those are called glandular epithelial tissues, and you can understand what's the function of glands. You already know the gland secretes fluids. So different purposes, different organs, different glands secrete some fluid. Now come to the reproductive epithelial tissues. Reproductive epithelial tissues are present in the reproductive organs like ovaries and testes. What is the function of this kind of tissues? These tissues can transform themselves and helps in production of sperm and ovum in the reproductive organs. So these are the other some of the epithelial tissues. Connective tissue. So connective tissues are of two types. Skeletal connective tissues and liquid connective tissues or fluid connective. So skeletal connective tissues are present in our hard part of the body, that means in our skeleton. And these skeletal connective tissues are of two types. Number one, cartilage, and another one is bone cartilage. These are the two types of connective tissues, and these cartilage connective tissues are flexible. They are present actually in our soft part, like the soft bones that like our pinna, that our nose, and they have lacunae. Lacunae means the cavity, which in between of the tissues there is the cavity present, field of matrix, that these cartilage tissues are also present at the end of the bone while they are moving to one over another, and it is stopping to decay of the bones in between of the joints. Clear? Now come to the bone cartilage. Which kind of connective tissues are called bone cartilage? The skeletal system, which is made up of hard, not flexible tissues, that are called bone cartilage connective tissues. Actually, these are the mainly our humerus, femur, that all the internal structure, supporting structure of the body is made up of mainly bone cartilage connective tissues. Calcium giving the hardness of the bone and giving the strength and hardness of the bone, and also giving the support of the body. Another one is fluid connective tissue. So fluid connective tissues are also two types. Number one, blood, and number two, lymph. Blood is contains three types of cells and one liquid. The liquid part of the blood is called plasma, and the cell containing those are red blood cell or erythrocyte, white blood cell, leukocyte, or platelet or thrombocytes. The pigment of this hemoglobin color is red, and this kind of cells are red, and that's why it is called red blood cell. And what's the main function of red blood cell? It can easily mix with or combine with oxygen and turn into oxyhemoglobin, and this oxyhemoglobin supply the oxygen to the cells for cellular respiration. What about the WBC? WBC's another name is leukocyte, and you know nowadays we are fighting with the COVID-19, and this white blood cell, when the COVID-19 attacking someone, that is not letting WBC to produce more antibodies. And if the body cannot produce any antibodies, then the whole body's function will be taken by the virus, and body cannot cope with that. So then they are falling sick, and it can be very fatal for some persons whose immunity system is less. So WBC is very important. Its another name is leukocyte. What's the function of leukocyte? To produce antibodies. A kind of chemical that when some invades some foreign bodies in the blood, they can recognize and produce the chemicals and killing the germs. And it's one way they are killing. But another way, sometimes white blood cell eat up them. What do? They also engulf the things, surround the things present in the blood and taken inside their body and digest that, and by this way they are killing the germs, and this process is called phagocytosis. Platelet. Platelets, another name for platelets is thrombocytes. Thrombo means clotting. So its function is to clot the blood. Somehow if some accident occurs or somehow we cut our body, so the huge blood will come out from the body, but it is not happening if it is not so huge cut. So when this kind of wounds are happening in our body, immediately at the place of wound, the platelets comes and all the proteins turn into a mesh-like structure and stopping the open ends of the blood vessels and stopping the blood to come out. And plasma contain organic food materials and other things which are supplying to the cells for cellular activities. Now lymph, yellowish alkaline product, liquid present in the tissue fluid. After the food that we are eating, that day after digestion, the fat is turning into fatty acid and glycerol. And these kind of things, fatty acid and glycerol is collected by lymphatic system from the intestine and taken to the tissue fluid system. By this way, tissue fluids are collected and distributed all over the body for other bodily purposes.